Hello, everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in. Big up to you, Bobby. Apologies for the long delay. I was having some issues with my device, so I had to play the intro and all of that longer. But welcome to the first review show of the new season for the Premier League. The Premier League opened up for Chelsea. It ends 0-0 for them. But welcome, Bobby. What do you have to say?
Um, Big up, Ty. Yeah. Sorry, I was eating a sandwich. um, yeah, listen, it was a very difficult game, and the first thing I'll start with is the positives. I thought Trevor Chalobah and young Josh Achipong in the centre backs positions were excellent today. What failed us, funnily enough, was the midfield. I felt we were not strong enough. They defended. They came to defend and to try and hit us on the fast break or take a set piece. And our midfield just wasn't dominant enough. Um, he took off Enzo Fernandez, who was ineffective, and brought on Andre Santos to try and address that. But the miss at the end by Santos was a shame, showing he still has some learning to do. And all in all, um, I think it's 2 points dropped. I can see why we're looking for more attackers. I think it wasn't a game for Jamie Gittens. He's still developing. He was ineffective. Um, I knew that from when I went to the stadium to watch him against AC Milan. He can be marked out of a game. Um, and I can see why they're going for Xavi Simons and Garnacho. Trouble is, physically, they're still deficient in terms of height. And I think height didn't help us. Lack of height didn't help us today, especially in midfield. But we continue. At least we showed enough about us to show that this team, Crystal Palace, we should have beaten them today, at least by a goal to nil.
I mean, that's true. That is true. Um, it was a very sloppy, second half and all of that. I mean, there are a few positives you can take away from it. I did like the way that we started the match, but as the match progressed, we started to look lethargic. We started moving slow. Of course, we had that spell where it was just corner after corner after corner being won, and but Palace, they remain compact. They remain confident in themselves that they could, either get edge the match by one goal or even get a draw, and they've gotten themselves a draw, so they can be grateful for that. Of course, they probably would have been, disappointed that the goal that Eze scored was ruled out. But of course, we know the rules and all of that came into play for all of that to be the case. But the truth is, it was as you guys seen the thumbnail. Opening day stalemate. It became very boring. It became very sloppy, lethargic. The players looked very tired. They looked out of it, and it was a slow build up, slow movement, sideways passes, trying to get behind Crystal Palace and failing. The defense of Crystal Palace, they deserve a lot of credit because they defended very well. They cleared the ball well. They won back the ball. They eradicated any threats that we could come with. It was a case where as well, a lot of the players that started, especially on the attack, they were not really, doing well together. The chemistry obviously isn't there completely. Of course, Cole Palmer, João Pedro, they know each other. Of course, the Club World Cup showed that, they can work together. But it did not really work out in this match. Jamie Gittins, he didn't really look the brightest, but he looked bad. He looked very raw. He was trying to do little what you call it? He was trying to do some tricks and all of that, and it worked a few times. Sometimes he was dispossessed. You can see that he has to learn, because, and I think the commentator of the stream that I was using to watch the match was saying that this is his first actual match playing in the Premier League. Because he obviously didn't really get to play at City. He obviously went to Dortmund. So adapting from the Bundesliga to the Premier League it's two different kettle of fish. And he wasn't getting that chance to really have that space or that freedom to really roam. Crystal Palace, they were being aggressive, they were pressing highly. So that is something that we saw was lacking in the attack. And I do think that it's a case where we've changed so much that we haven't gotten the chance to allow the players to really gel together. Gittings hasn't really played with Joao Pedro for that long. Esteban came on, he did his best. He came on, and the first thing that he did was tremendous. But I don't know. Do you think that did you think Maresca got the timing of the substitutions wrong, or do you think that was not a factor, Bobby?
I think we lack the physicality to hurt them. A lot of the Premier League is about Route 1 football, and sometimes you have to do that. Left to me, I would have played Jackson on the left, because he would have added that hustle that we need. Now we're trying to sell him, which I'm not sure is that good an idea, but yeah, I mean, this is one that got away, happens in the Premier League, but we definitely have to do better, because now teams know if you defend well, you can get away with it with Chelsea. They lack that bite to hurt you.
Yeah. I think I think I'm having some technical difficulties, having problems with unmuting and all of that. But nonetheless, yeah, I mean, and I mentioned this in the group that we're in as well, that you can see that Crystal Palace, they were basically doing exactly what they did against Liverpool, where, last season, Oliver Glasner, if I'm not butchering his name, you'd have obviously set them up in a way where they're set for the counter-attack. And you saw that was their approach. They didn't try to take the front foot approach. They didn't try to be the one dominating possession. And of course, we know that we were dominating the possession instead. So, of course, that's one factor that was obviously there. And against Liverpool, they were pressing highly and all of that. And, I think that's one thing that I even mentioned, coming off that Club World Cup win, where I was saying that, okay, teams are going to know what to do. A lot of people took that Club World Cup win as a expectation that, okay, we're going to be delivering this, or we're going to be able to do that, which to me, it's not a logical thing, and that's just going off of optimism and high level of positivity, when I believe that if a manager is sensible, they're not going to set up like a PSG where they allow you that much space, or are they going to do that? They're going to press you, and perhaps the fact that we're tired played a role in it. But I do believe that, the way that Crystal Palace have been able to, make themselves more solid defensively, they have a very good centre-back pairing, and their fullbacks as well are very good. It allows them that opportunity to say, okay, let us give Chelsea that chance to have the ball, but they can't do anything with the ball if we're compact, if we remain so solid or so united at the back, in that back line. And of course, we know chances. We had many shots that were not on target. I don't even know if we got one more shot on target after that 3rd minute attempt, because I know it was one shot on target for a large part of the game. So I'd have to probably check the statistics to see how many shots were on target after the fact, because it wasn't really promising. We had a lot of shots, but it came to nothing. It was very poor. But 5 people are watching. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. Let me see what Phil says here. Phil says, Enzo Fernandez is a very smart attack player who should never be replaced in our team. Well, Enzo Fernandez was very poor today. I don't know what you think, Bobby, but he was very poor. He did very poorly in the match. He was being bullied off the ball way too easily. Physically, he just could not keep up with the press and his distribution. The ball was getting stuck under his feet a lot. And it was very sloppy. He came off relatively later than I would have wanted to. If I was the manager, I'd probably take him off earlier than he did. But of course, as you mentioned, Andre Santos came on, that chance, he missed it. But it's very important that we remember that, he's just coming back. He has to readjust to playing the Premier League because I think he played briefly, or he didn't play at all. I don't remember what happened with this loan. I always mix up the loans to know if he played at least 1 minute. But I don't think he played at first because I know that they went on that whole buying spree after they got him on loan. So I don't remember in terms of his time in the Premier League if he actually got to play. But I don't know. A lot of the players, they looked very lethargic. They looked very tired. And I don't know if it's the schedule that they had. I'm not going to make excuses. But of course, Maresca did say in his press conference prior to the match that they would do their best to try to perform well. The team is lacking some players that he believes are key, and it's going to be about adjusting and adapting to the changes that happened so last minute. Because Tosin getting injured was probably not something that you would have wanted, and I think he made it very clear that he doesn't really have much trust in Fofana. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm looking too deep into things. I don't know what you think, Bobby, but I think all of that plays a role as well.
I don't think he's not got trust in Fofana. Fofana hasn't played football for over a year, so he has to ease him in. He's not going to just thrust him into a high energy game where he doesn't have the energy yet. So he will play, but he just felt that for this game, he wouldn't use him, which is fine. Enzo Fernandez, I'm with you. It's not about replacing him. It's just he didn't have a good game, so he needed to be taken off the pitch for somebody else. The midfield I felt was lacking. And yet again, I don't know if we're tired. Yeah, maybe a little bit of lack of match fitness, um, especially as we had that break and we only had a short pre-season. Maybe that's telling. But I don't think that's the case. I think Crystal Palace was there for the beating. I think we could have beaten them, but we lacked the physicality to beat them. They used their physicality well. We were a little bit slow in getting them carded, um, because we could have used that to our advantage. Since they are bigger than us, we should have given the referee more reason to show them cards, but we didn't. Look, it's a learning curve. I do take on board that, yes, there are some new players playing together for the first time, but they're beginning to see that the Premier League is a whole different beast. It's a different animal out there. And these sort of teams like Crystal Palace are plenty. We could have won. We should have won if we took our chances. I found the miss by Andre Santos extremely disappointing. I mean, he didn't even. I just don't know what happened there. I found that really poor. But as I said, we've got the next game to prepare. We need to get our transfers done now. We really do. Let's stop all this messing around. If players are to be sold, get rid of them. And if players are to come, bring them in. Because as you can see, it takes time for teams to settle in, players to settle in, and for the team to function efficiently. The season has started now, and we're already playing catch up. 2 points down on the leaders, which is never a good thing.
Yeah, I mean that's a solid point, and it really does make you think about what the response will be. Of course, it's not a it's not a good start, and ideally, we've had a good record against Crystal Palace, and it remains the same still, technical, because we haven't lost to them still. But of course, it means that in the midst of that good record, it's now a draw, and I think it's one of the more poor starts of the Premier League. Ideally, we well, I think it was the same last. Was it the same last season? Was the season before that? I mixed up the seasons, but I think we played Liverpool for the first match when we were under Pochettino. We got a draw as well to start the campaign. So yeah, it's very telling, and of course, I did do a stream with Jerry, of course, at that time, saying that there's a hidden cost of winning the Club World Cup. It means that for the start of the season, we're gonna be tired because you're playing in a very hot environment that most of those players are not used to. Some players are used to that because they would have played in it before they came to Europe. But of course, it's going to be costly, and of course, the preseason to really get back that sharpness. It was just 2 matches, and of course, yeah, we won those matches and by a good margin of goals. But it at the same time, a lot of those players that played, they didn't play today or with each other or against a team that would give them that level of press. So I think that that's the case. Of course, it's not a good start on paper, but it's the first match of the season. We can't be too upset. We can be disappointed by the fact that it ended so poorly and with no goals. But of course, it's the first match of the season. I was expecting us to at least get a goal. But I brought up the stats. I don't know how visible it is, but I'll just read it nonetheless if you can't see it, Bobby. But it says 71% possession for Chelsea, 71% in comparison to Crystal Palace's 29%. So we dominated possession, but we did nothing with it per se. Expected goals was 1.81 for Chelsea and 1.07 for Crystal Palace. We had 19 total shots to Crystal Palace's 12. We only had 3 shots on target from that 19. So that's slightly more than 6 times less of shots on target in comparison to the total shots. And of course, they had 4. So a third of the shots that they had were on target. Of the total shots that they had were on target. Big chances, we had 1, and it was missed. And I'm going to assume that big chance that they're talking about would have been that opportunity that Santos wasn't able to convert. Accurate passes, 492 and 90% accuracy there for Chelsea. 164 passes, 75% accuracy for Crystal Palace. Fouls committed, 10 from Chelsea and 12 for Crystal Palace. 11 corners and 2 for Crystal Palace. Walking, I didn't know that you have physical performances now on football, but it says distance covered 105.8 kilometers. Distance covered for Chelsea and 109.9 kilometers for Crystal Palace. I've never seen this level of data before, but that's interesting. Expected goals, I already mentioned that. But yeah, duels 147 for Chelsea, 44 for Crystal Palace. Ground duels 130, 49%. So basically, all of this looks very poor as you go down. But chat, 4 people are watching. Let me know what you guys think about it. Bobby and I have given our thoughts. We love to hear from you as well. And do you think that this is concerning? Do you think that it's going to be the same old slow build-up as we saw last season? Or do you think that we should give it some time? Let us know what you think. 4 people are watching so we can get more interactions going. And if you're shy, you can just simply say hi. You can say something. Or if you don't want to, or if you're just listening, of course, just leave your thoughts and then you can go back to just simply listening. But we want to hear what you have to say, as you know, it's just the 2 of us here, and we love to hear from you as well.
One thing that disappointed me, certainly earlier on in the first half, was our response to the high press. I mean, we're used to that. We've shown we can deal with that. We dealt with that against PSG with the ball over the top. We didn't do that when Palace came to give us the high press. It was disappointing how we tried that nonsense Maresca playing the ball out from the back, and we were caught several times doing that rather than the counter to that, which is the ball over the top. So I don't know, is this teething problems? Probably. I think there needs to be more in this team. As I said, I am very, I wouldn't say very, but I have some concern about the lack of physicality. The midfield was not dominant at all. Many a time they went missing. The gaps in the middle of the field was disturbing. Enzo Fernandez was nowhere. I couldn't find him most of the time. Sometimes I couldn't even find Caicedo. You know who was stepping into midfield? Chalaba. That's disturbing. Those gaps shouldn't be. And, he needs to look at that. If he has to play Esugo as well as Caicedo, sometimes he should do that. But there is a significant lack of height with this team, and I think it showed. Many balls being crossed, we couldn't get our heads on it. Um, uh, um, what's his name? Oh gosh, Cole Palmer. Disappointingly, I remember watching him in the AC Milan game, and he's not shooting. He doesn't take shots where he should when the opportunity arises. There's a lot of things. I'm not quite sure. It's a tiredness. Why are they tired? They've had a week between games. Um, I would say, okay, maybe a little bit of match rustiness has crept in. I don't know, but it wasn't a great performance. They need to do better. There's going to be stiffer challenges. What's the next game? Is it West Ham? So I don't. So they've got
Yeah.
to. We've got to do better. That really wasn't good enough today, and if we are looking at that as a good performance, I think it's problematic. We didn't do well today. We
Yeah.
should have beaten these people. We should have won, and that miss by Santos at the end was just testimony to that.
Yeah, I mean that was a one of the most disappointing parts. And yeah, Chelsea auntie is saying that she agrees with you, Bobby. Yeah, there was too much of a big gap, and it reminds me so much of what we saw last season in the beginning, as well, where there was this massive gap between the midfield and the defense, and the only way for that gap to really be filled, or that void, or that space in behind, was through somebody stepping up. And as you said, Chalobah was stepping up, which he does have experience play as a midfielder. He played as a midfielder in his early years, alongside his brother Nathaniel Chalobah, I think, who was at Chelsea as well. So it's concerning. And as you said, when we did see Caicedo, I forgot Caicedo was playing for some parts of the game. I didn't even remember that he was playing until I saw him go down with a little knock. And then, of course, Enzo Fernandez was not visible at another. And it's concerning. We didn't really do well. And it was just lethargic, slow build-up movement of the ball, sideways passes, trying to get behind. And even João Pedro, he was non-existent for a large part of the game. I forgot he was playing. It was like we were playing and he was a ghost. He was not getting as much touches. He was not a part of the build-up. It was always a case of, when Gitting was on, it was going to him on the left-hand side. Kukurea was trying to invert to try to be there, but none of our midfielders were visible. They weren't really there. It was just like it was like you had numbers on the pitch for the sake of us having placeholders. They were not there, and they didn't really play a role in the build-up. Unless there was a case where we tried to go central a few times, but it was always going down the flanks, through Gittings, trying to do a little footwork and get beyond and cross the ball in and try to win corners. The same for Neto on that right-hand side. So it is concerning, and James had to be the one trying to make those passes and trying to be good on the ball and coming back up and down, and trying to be a part of that midfield as well. So it's concerning. There's a lot to learn from this match, but I'm happy that it's happening now. The first match of the season, it doesn't determine anything. You could always turn the season around after the first game, but it does show all the things that need to work upon, that need to be worked upon, I should say. And if Maresca actually sees it, and I hope he does, he will make an alteration and he'll make those changes, and hopefully we can have a better result in the next match. I think the West Ham is indeed the next match, if I'm not mistaken, and that's what, next week Sunday again, or is it Saturday? I don't remember the dates, but I think West Ham is the next match for sure. But yeah, it was definitely disappointing. And Chelsea Angie says it here: too many touches on the ball and so slow. Yeah, I'm hoping we don't go back to that lackluster, slow build-up play. I know lots of people like it because they think that you can drag out teams and bring them out of possession, which we did that against PSG. But not every team is going to be like PSG, who's going to be committing players and leaving those gaps in behind. So it's a risky thing, and I'm hoping that that's not Maresca is hoping will work for him. That, you know, if you play slow, it allows teams to come at you and commit players, and then hopefully you can get behind them. Because many teams will see through what PSG did and not do that. So yeah, and Chelsea Auntie says lucky for a point though. If Eze goal had stood, yeah, I mean, well, that's hypothetical. We never know. Maybe would have give them a kick up the ass, and then maybe we'd have to say we have to step up. We have to do something different. Obviously, when the match is 0-0, there's less pressure. There is pressure to get the first goal, but there's less pressure than you being behind because you're not chasing the game. Or if you're chasing the game, it's not a case where, you know, it's because you're conceding. Could be chasing the game because you're not having the ball, but that's definitely not the case because we had more of the ball. And as the statistics showed, we had 71% possession and we did nothing with it. It was just having the ball for the sake of having the ball, but we were not dominating in terms of getting all those attacking opportunities at the highest level. We had 19 shots, which looks good on paper, but the fact that we only had 3 on target, that's concerning. You know, it is definitely concerning that, you know, the team was only able to get to even get 3 shots on target, and maybe that's a testament, as I said, to the fact that Crystal Palace were defending relatively well. Maybe that is the case. Maybe I'm being probably too harsh on the team, but at the end of the day, it's not good. You know, as you said, we did not do well, and as you said, Bobby, they were there for the taking. You know, we could have beaten them, and we should have beaten them because, you know, despite how defensively solid they weren't unbeatable. It wasn't a case where they were that good to the point where, you know, getting a result was not even possible. It was, but it is what it is. We have to, you know, come together as a unit and, you know, assess it, review the match if that's the plan that he has. And then I know some people were making jokes that, you know, when the camera cuts to Todd Bowley, he was sending a message to the sporting directors and all those involved that we need to put in an offer for Simmons and get the deal done because we need something different. I don't know if just adding Simmons changes that because he's going to have to adapt to the Premier League as well, from the Bundesliga as well. So I don't know, but if we can finish getting our targets in before the window closes, it would be nice. I would have preferred that we got all our signings in before the season started, but circumstances obviously didn't lead to that. But we will see what happens. You know, it's the first match of the season. It's telling. It shows the weaknesses that we have, and hopefully, as we both said, Bobby, we see Maresca, you know, bringing the team together after post-match. Now they go into preparing for the next match against West Ham, I think, and hopefully we see what happens in the next match.
Yeah. He has no choice other than to do better. As I've said, you know, what I think really hurt today was the midfield. The midfield was terrible. You know, those gaps in the middle, lack of height. There was no control in midfield at all. So they have to address that. You look at Liverpool now. I'm watching Man United and Arsenal. You saw Man City. I mean, these teams their performances were head and shoulders better than the rubbish we did today, for sure.
Yeah, and so it's I'm a bit disappointed. I was hoping we get a win to start off the season. Right off that momentum and that adrenaline of winning the Club World Cup. But of course, as we've said, it's the first match of the season. I don't think there's anything more to discuss per se. I think we've done relatively well, in terms of reviewing the match. We've talked about key moments that probably would have made a different result happen if they were pounced upon and capitalized on. But of course, I don't know if you have anything else to add. If not, I think we can wrap it up here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a start. We've discussed the start. I think we've done it justice.
Yeah,
And, they need to do better for sure, because this season is going to be fierce.
yeah,
There's no time for for weakness.
yeah. And I just want to quickly ask you this question as well. I know we have Dario Zogo who's still at the club. We have Andre Santos. But do you think that we need to add a midfielder? At the centre back is probably one that is 50-50 for some people. And even that, do you think we need to add more players in the defense or the midfield area going forward?
The problem we have in defense is fitness.
Mm,
It's been a problem all along. No Wesley Fofana, and goodness knows how long it's going to take him to be match fit. Colwill is out now. Tosin being rested, and Badiashile, I don't have much faith in him anyway. I think we need another defender, maybe even more so than a midfielder. But having said that, I was very impressed with young Josh Achipong. And I think if these midfielders don't um, uh, perform well, and we have a few more of the defenders back fit, you're going to find that Josh will step in there, because he does have the height that we're lacking, and he certainly has the physicality as well. So we have the players, but we've got to utilize them correctly.
yeah. And well, yeah, I mean that's true. I haven't really been keeping up to date with what's going on with the transfer latest. But we do have centre backs at the club. We do have, well, I think is Anselmino still at Chelsea, or did he get sent out on loan?
Yeah, Anselmina's there, but he's kind of, not only is he new, but he doesn't really have the height required for the Premier League. The Premier League is there's a huge physicality issue there, and we cannot be ignoring it simply because we've gone and bought all these little players. I can see a situation where Anselmina goes on loan. I don't know. The manager will have to see how much he trusts him, but I don't think he's big enough, unless there are other big defenders playing around him. Certainly, Chalobah has definitely sealed his place. He's an excellent defender, and if we, when we get Tosin back, it's helpful. But yeah, I mean that's just it. I would start to put, if those two are back, I would start to put Josh in midfield, because what Enzo's doing there at the moment is just not good enough. He has to fight to get his place back.
Yeah, I think that should be the case. So I think although certain players had a good performance in the Club World Cup, I don't think it should be a case where we say that there's guaranteed starters, especially not so soon in the season. And of course, I don't think any of these players should feel as if they're untouchable or they can't be benched. Because if you have a competitor, you have a player that can actually offer more than what you're offering presently, then of course I'm all for you playing the one that is actually doing well. And believe you should award players based on merit, and you should play players based on merit and based on what they do. So if it's a case where players like Enzo Fernandez or even Caicedo are not delivering in that aspect, then of course you play the players that are giving you the sort of performances that can help you to win matches or get the best results. So I think that that's definitely the case. And Chelsea Auntie is asking what's happening with Lavia. Is Lavia injured? Is that the case? Why was he not? He
Lavia
wasn't on the
still
bench, I think.
he's still injured, isn't he? I mean, this is the problem we have. All these injured players, all these unfit players. My attitude now is, look, this is an athlete's game at the very, very top. If you cannot survive as an athlete and go through the season at a top club, that you leave us with no choice. You know, Fofana, this is his last chance as far as I'm concerned. And Lavia is sailing close to that wind. Since he joined, what, 2 seasons ago, he's not played. He's not even been able to play 90 minutes. That's an indictment. Even when he is fit, he can't play 90 minutes. I mean, what is that? Let's see what happens with him.
Yeah. Well, I think with that being said, thank you very much, Bobby, for joining today. This is going to be on the shorter side, and I think that if nobody else is on, I think the streams can be this length because we've already discussed everything in length. There's not really much to discuss. It wasn't like there's goals or anything to really discuss. So of course, I think that this is a good place to end it. Thank you, Chelsea Auntie, as well, for tuning in and for commenting. Thank you for those who tune in as well. Few people are watching. Please like and subscribe if you are new. And for persons who may end up seeing this after, please do the same as well. Blue Line Chelsea, thank you very much for tuning in. I'm not sure if I recognize this channel, but thank you very much for tuning in and appreciate it. I'll check out the channel to see if I actually know it, and maybe I'm just having a lapse of memory. But thank you very much for tuning in once more, Bobby. Anything you want to say before I end the stream?
No, it's been short and sweet and to the point.
Yeah.
And it's always a pleasure to sit on the panel and chat with you.
Yeah. I'd say the same for you as well. So thank you very much. And as I said, guys, like and subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, the content that's on the channel. Otherwise, there's many things. If you want to learn more about Joao Pedro, there's an analysis video on him. Jimmy Gittings, all the new signings that we've had so far. I have made videos on them, so you can always check them. Check out those videos, and you can check out the things that will be coming on the channel as well. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys again next time. Cheers and goodbye.
Neon pulse in the midnight air. We glide